you're doing things like running, maybe even you're swimming outside or something like that. The sun itself, when the sun hits you, it's just gonna cause you to sweat a lot more. It's gonna cause you to dry out. So your working parts need to be hydrated, need to stay hydrated. Now, there is such a thing as overhydration. You don't want to put too much water in your body too fast. That can be just as bad as not being hydrated at all. So there's a middle ground there. Take tiny sips. Make sure if you feel dizzy at any point in time, you stop what you're doing, get some fresh air, get some air, drink some water, but drink it slow. Don't try to drink it too fast, okay? All right, let's move on to our workout. I think we're all pretty good and warmed up now. So we're gonna keep it simple. I like to keep it simple. And then I'm gonna show you some fun things that you didn't know your body could possibly do. So we're gonna start off from the standing position here. These are squats. So your feet position, you're gonna go slightly diagonal out. The reason is your knees are gonna follow and we're gonna sit into the squat position. It's a little harder to do if your muscles are tight to get parallel from this position here. So I encourage range of motion. We're gonna widen our stance just a bit, outside shoulder width, sitting into the squat position, pressing the heels firmly through the floor to stand. Again, sitting into the squat position and then standing all the way. Now, I get asked this question a lot. Is it important to get parallel on your squat? Well, it encourages more of those muscles to fire. Yeah, it is, but it's not the be all end all of the squat. A lot of people's squats might sit here. Others might get really low because they have good open hips and hip flexors. But to tell you the truth, does that make a better squat? It's all relative. What I try to focus on are the muscles that I want to use. Are they working? Are they firing? Primary muscle groups, gluteus maximus, minimus, piriformis, posterior booty, whatever you want to call it. That's what's going to be working the most. Secondary is your legs. And then everything else just kind of follows. You're using a lot of your core when you're standing here as well as your lower back. So we're going to do one quick set, 15 repetitions. Good. Make sure we're breathing through these movements as well. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Good. Let's get these 15 reps. Good. All right, so now we're going to move back to that hip hinge, something that we did for warm-ups. We're going to build into our actual working sequence. So, shifting the hips back, hands are going to come all the way up. We stand, shoulders back, chest out. Hinge position, reaching up, and then back. So we just did one exercise for our legs and our glutes, but deadlifts also work, hinges work for the gluteal muscles as well. So we're chaining exercises in the body, starting with squats, going on to the hinge deadlifts. But we're also incorporating the shoulders and the arms as we're reaching up. Good. And make sure you give those glutes a good squeeze on the way up here. When you're standing upright, give them a good squeeze. We're relaxing them. They're stretching out the fabric here. We stand and we squeeze them together. 2 and 1. Great. Now, a lot of you might start to feel your muscle groups. They're maybe throbbing. They're filling with blood. They're getting pumped. That's a muscle pump. That's a good thing. Again, I stress, if you feel like you're lightheaded, out of breath yet, just have a seat, sit this one out, and then pick it back up whenever you're ready. Next, we're going to move to my favorite leg exercise, the lunge. A lot of ways you can do lunges. I prefer the front step lunge. I step with my left, I drop my right back, I bring it back. Step, bring the knee down, up. We're going to alternate each side. Good. So with these, make sure you're not stepping too far outward here. I see when people do lunges like that, what happens is you end up loading your hip flexors a little more than your quadriceps. It's putting more of a stretch into those hip flexors when really what we want to do is load those quadriceps. So we want to take steps where we get to about a near 90-degree angle. You can see both the angles in my legs, close to a 90-degree angle, going both ways. And again, really, there's a lot of ways you can do lunges. I just like the more practical approach. You can even do a back step lunge. Starting to get a little more fancy now. You can also do a lunge with the leg march. Takes a lot more body mechanics, using a lot more muscle groups. So if you want something to feel like cardio, speed up the process a bit. If you want to challenge yourself, stay on one leg. Step back with the other, and then bring it into a march, as you can see there. All right, so we're going to do a couple more each leg, and then we're going to go to the floor position, back in the tabletop. Good. Got a couple more each side. Again, if you're feeling thirsty, if you're feeling lightheaded, grab some water. There's no harm in it. We're here to have fun, guys. We're here to sweat a little. That's a given, but I want everyone to have fun. And good. All right. So back into the tabletop position. This is a probably obvious one for a lot of people. What to do from here? Push-up. Push-ups are one of the most common exercises. You don't need any equipment for that. You notice so far we haven't used any equipment besides the floor mat. So we're going to get into some push-ups next. So a couple of ways we can do this. I like to start from the floor position here, flat. Let me slide this out here a bit, get some better light there. So from this flat position, I'm going to line up my hands, keeping them really close to the chest, because when I raise up, I want columns that are loading my chest and shoulders. See, all the way up to plank position. I want to make sure that my hips are elevated, not low. That could put strain on the lower back. Now, when doing these at first, we can cheat it. If we desire to get 12 or 15 repetitions with these, we can cheat it a little tiny bit. It's okay. If you want to do them the hardcore military way, your chest never touches. You keep the range of motion flowing until you get your desired amount. But for those that maybe aren't quite there yet, aren't quite able to get that many, well, keep your knees glued here, and you're taking away about 50% of that body weight now. Or if you want a little more of a challenge than this, let the chest drop all the way before you pick it all the way back up again. So those are 3 approaches to doing those push-ups. So we're going to do a set of, let's get a set of 10 real quick, just to get a good pump in the chest, the arms, and the shoulders. All right, so we're going to get those 10. We're going to knock out those 10. Good. All right, so we're at the point now where we did our first exercise chain. So now we're going to stretch. We're going to treat our bodies to a little TLC in that stretching. So since we're already down here, we're going to go into child's pose stretch. We're going to hold that 15 seconds. When that 15 seconds is complete, we're going to go into upward dog. Look familiar? Just like that warm-up we did earlier where we were going back and forth from child's pose into upward dog. Okay? So we're going to hold 15 seconds each. We're also going to take that time, grab a little bit of water, and then we'll get back into our second series of exercises. Good, we're 20 minutes in. Hope everyone's feeling great so far. Hope everyone's having fun. For those, again, that are joining us, thank you for participating in Champions for Health presents Sweat Till Sunset. I'm your virtual trainer, John Gonzalez. I'm actually surprised more dogs haven't joined us. So my wife and I have 4 dogs total, and just Brutus is outside right now. I don't know. Maybe they don't like the sun very much right now. Okay, so if you're just joining us, we just did our warm-ups. I stressed the importance of water, staying hydrated, not getting too overhydrated. We did a chain of workouts involving squats, lunges, hip hinges, push-ups. So I'm going to show you a couple of variations of those same exercises for our set number 2. Okay, so we had our standard squat position. We're standing slightly outside shoulder width. Our knees follow our ankle line. We're sitting into position, engaging the floor with our heels, pushing the floor to stand. Squeezing the glutes at the top position, making sure that those are the muscle groups as well as the legs that are firing. Those are the primary muscles that we're working on. So here's some squat variations. This is a side step squat. So it starts off the same way. I'm going to step to my right, and then I'm going to bend that knee by keeping that hip shifted back. Let me show you from the side what I mean by that. My hip is shifted back, and it looks like a squat. It looks like if I move my leg closer, that's the same position, but I'm leaving a staggered leg to solo out that right side. This is also a very good one to alternate. So I step to my right, and then I push off that right back to the center. I step to my left, I push off that left back to the center. Now, can I vary my range of motion where I step? You bet I can. I could even step out 45 degrees. I want to make sure that my ankle is turned at such an angle that, one, I'm not bending my knee here and overloading the meniscus or any of these ligaments here in the side of the knee, in the back of the knee. So if I'm going to step out at that angle, I'm going to rotate my ankle first. That way I can keep that leg slant loaded. Okay? So we're going to do, let's get ambitious. Let's do 10 each side. If you need a little assistance with the balance, don't step out quite as far. This is pretty far here. That's like a stretch in the extended leg with a heavy load on the right leg. So at first start, just slight. This is still doing a lot, believe it or not. You can feel that muscle working as you're pushing off. Good. And when you start to feel like, well, that's not maybe enough of a challenge, step a little further out. Let's see what that body is capable of. Good. We're going to do a couple more each side. Let's get that 10 each side. We're going to be ambitious with this one today. Why? Because it's Friday. We probably had a long work week. We've been busy. Hopefully everyone's been busy. Hopefully everyone's been exercising. If you haven't, that's part of one of the things I'm going to teach you today is that you don't need a lot of equipment or any equipment to get a good workout. Okay, so now we're going to move to a different hip hinge. That's right. So we're loading the hip hinge here, but I want my hands and arms to do something. So while I hinge back, I'm going to keep my hands to the front of my hips, bring them up, squeezing the shoulder blades, stand, front raise. Good. Look how slow I bring that down. I'm using resistance in the body. Hinge, bringing the arms up to the side, squeezing the shoulder blades, stand, front raise, bring it slowly back down. Now I'm making my shoulders and my arms work more. Hinge, bring up the shoulder blades. This movement is called a rear delt fly. Squeeze in the shoulder blades together, stand, arms all the way above head, bring them down nice and slow, like we're crushing a big box down. Back to the hinge, rear delt fly, squeezing the shoulder blades, stand, all the way up. Good. Go at your own pace. We're going to do 5 more of these before we get into our different lunge variation. All right? Keep it going. Good. Your own pace. Unless I say pick up the pace, it's always important. Go at your own pace. Treat your body well. Don't try to rush too much. Some of these exercises, some of these movements might be brand new. You know, there was a given time when these were so brand new to me, and I'm like, well, how am I going to comprehend doing this in a big chain? Well, I had to link up with the trainer. I had to get with the trainer. I had to do privates to make myself better. I had to get certified because I wanted to be a personal trainer. I had to do a lot of reading, a lot of research, watch a lot of YouTube videos, talk to a lot of friends of mine that were personal trainers. Never ends there. So if ever you have any questions, consult me. Consult a personal trainer, someone that might have a little more knowledge on that. I just don't have knowledge of body. I have knowledge on proper eating as well. All right, so we're going to move to another lunge variation. We're gonna load the single leg here. Front step, back step. Show you from the side profile here. My left leg stays planted. I step forward with the right. I push off, right to the left, or to the back, sorry. So a couple of ways we can do this to not, if we're losing balance, stop here. You can let the knee touch. Stop here. Stop here, you can let the knee touch, and then back up, okay? If you want it more advanced, well, the knee doesn't touch, the foot doesn't touch. We just go back and forth here. Good, and that's a good way of building balance into the legs. A lot of us might have some issues where we pronate, we supinate our feet on our ankles. We even try to like stand on 1 foot balance. Well, lunges are a good way of treating that balance. The better you get at lunges, the better your balance in your lower body will be, the better your equilibrium will be. I know that for a fact. So we're gonna switch legs just to kind of show you both sides here. Want to do an equal amount for both sides always. Good. We get a couple more of those. And then we're going to go back to our mat surface. I'll show you another push-up variation. Push-ups, the sky's the limit. Honestly, you can do a lot with just the push-ups themselves. And I'm going to show you one variation now. And then when we take another break, we're going to do a whole round from the floor position. And I can show you all the different push-ups you can do, because one of the best looking muscles out there, gentlemen, if you're out, say you're on the beach, or you're wearing a t-shirt, you gotta show the guns, you gotta show the chest. Push-ups are one of the best things you can do. There's a reason why they do a lot of these in the military. They do a lot of them in the police academy. One, they're easily available, readily available, and two, they're really good at building that upper body strength. And the more push-ups you can do, the stronger you can get. Well, I think to me that's a sign that you're heading in the step of the right direction. For ladies that maybe don't want the really big aesthetics or anything, they're good for toning too. They're good for toning that tricep, that back of the arm part here. The shoulders look better when you're wearing a spaghetti strap dress, or just a dress or anything that reveals the shoulders. Fantastic. And these are different exercises that can really help you to achieve that. All right, so let's get into that next variation. It's the push-up into the planking knee. So we start from the plank position. We execute one push-up, and then we bring our knees forward. On two, and then our knees forward again. So what that's doing is that's alternating between 3 different movements. 1, the push-up. 2, that planking knee. And 3, I gotta hold that plank to get that planking knee in place. So again, push up, alternate the planking knees, repeat. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna do 10 of those. Also, if you're finding that push up again just a little challenging and you wanna do that variation, check this out. Push up, drop the feet, hips up. 1, 2, knees drop, push up. Plant the feet, 1, 2. Just a matter of chaining more movements to be able to achieve that. Again, that push up, you're lifting your whole upper body weight. So if we need to cut that down a little bit to achieve the goal, drop the knees, not a big deal. I sometimes still do that just to get extra repetitions. Not a big deal. We're challenging ourselves here. That's one thing, but we're not putting ourselves up against anyone else's competition. We're doing this for ourselves, guys. We're all individuals in this. We're all striving to be better, to be stronger, to look better, to live healthier. We don't need to add up to anyone else's goals for us. We need to own up to our own goals for ourselves. So set goals, and I really hope you reach those. All right, with that being said, we're gonna go back into another stretch break. So I'm gonna show you a couple more different stretches. Seated position, both legs extended. Right leg, we're gonna cross that over. Hold on, let me get back. Sorry, having some disputes with the available light here. So both legs extended, We're gonna cross that right leg over. Everyone wave to me with your left hand. Good. We're gonna take that left hand and we're gonna cross it over. Now I'm gonna stare to my right side. So this is stretching this right leg here. My left leg is stretching because it's extended, and I'm rotating my spine so that lower back and my shoulders are stretching here. We'll hold these for about 15, 20 seconds. Get a good thorough stretch. Good, when that's finished, both legs back extended again, and we're gonna start from square one. Left leg, we're gonna cross that over. Everyone wave to me with your right hand. We're gonna take that, hook it over the knee. We're gonna rotate to our left side. You could also do this by taking your elbow and placing it in front of the knee. You can get more of a rotation there. For those of us that are a little more flexible, absolutely, you can definitely do that. So there's other ways. If you're not quite getting the stretch here, there's always ways of increasing that resistance in the stretch, okay? All right. Take 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Now we're going to do some individual stretches here. Right arm forward, cross it all the way over. Cup the left shoulder, reach underneath. And then we're going to pull that across the body here. So right arm, extend it all the way, grab the left shoulder, reach underneath, and then just pull it across here. This is a good stretch for the back of the arms. Those muscle groups that we use, the chest and shoulders and triceps to do those push-ups. This comes in handy. Got to keep that muscle dexterity. This is important to strength. Shake it out, left forward, grab the right, reach underneath, pull that in tight. Good, hold that for about 15 seconds. We'll finish with that. We're gonna shake it out. We're gonna hydrate if we need to hydrate. That's where we are able to take that opportune time during our breaks. Good. All right, so the next sequence we're gonna get into, these are going to be some push-up variations that you can use. So I already showed you the basic push-up. I also showed you the push-up into planking knee, but there's a whole series just utilizing the plank that we can build with our push-ups. So the next one we're going to go into is the push-up into downward dog. Downward dog, it's a yoga movement. It's a very common yoga movement, but it's also a good one for loading the shoulders and the back. So we start in our plank position. We load the push-up back in a plank position. Now, I'm going to push my hips up and away so that I put my body into a diagonal. I almost look like an A-frame position here. I bring it back to plank, load another push-up back into that downward dog. Now, again, if we're having trouble doing those push-ups, we can dial it back a little bit. Let the chest fall all the way to the floor before you pick the body up, and then load that downward dog. That's at least going to give you a little momentum to pick the body back up. Sorry about that, guys. I keep having to fight the light here, losing sunlight. That's why they call this sweat till sunset, because it's getting sunset pretty soon, and I'm getting too many shadows here. So I'll do the best that I can to try to maintain the light. I'll reiterate some things if I feel like the lighting wasn't the best. So again, push-up position, downward dog, and repeat. Good, let's get a couple more of those. It's really good for pumping up the arms, the chest, and the back, as well as using the core, especially when we go back to that plank position. You got to really use that core to stabilize, to protect your lower back. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to do a push-up with an up-down plank. Back in a plank position. Loading the push-up. We're going to drop one elbow, drop the other elbow. Now we're in lower plank position. Plant the palm, plant the other palm, load another push-up. Drop the elbow, plant the palm, load the push-up. This in itself is a very advanced push-up variation because we're constantly changing those levels, which means we're doing a double, sometimes triple load on those shoulders and triceps. So imagine trying to get 10 of those after everything we've done so far. That's fantastic. That's a lot of strength, a lot of body resiliency. And you have it in you to complete those. Absolutely, that's great. Let's get 10. If not, 5 is fine, 8 is fine. Try to set a goal and see if you can reach that goal and maybe even surpass it. All right, I'll give you guys a couple more moments, complete those. And then I'll show you one more variation of push-up / plank. Okay, so now we're gonna do the push-up into shoulder tap. Push-up position. Pressing down. I gotta stabilize on one arm while I tap my shoulders. Now, the ultimate goal with this, obviously, is to be able to complete the rep and maintain the balance all the same. If you're finding these a little bit challenging, try this variation instead. You get the push-up, pick up one hand, pick up the other, and then repeat. It's just a matter of getting used to that pressure it might put on the wrist and hand, as well as that initial balance. Because holding yourself in a tripod here, it's off balance. It's not for everybody. It's not the easiest thing to do, but it's a variation. For you overachievers, you want to try that one. That is an excellent variation. It's challenging. It'll probably put you a little bit out of breath like I am right about now. Okay, so we're gonna finish those and we're gonna hop back up. And now we're gonna treat our bodies to a little bit of cardio. So we don't need jump ropes. It might be good to have one if you want it. You like the jump rope. That's an easy enough piece of equipment to travel with to have on hand. But if you don't, well, we can fake it. Very easy. Clench your hands like you're gripping a handle. And then we can jump. We can create the illusion using our imagination of having a jump rope. Because really all it is, it's whipping the rope around and hurdling it and jumping over that. So that's what we're gonna do. So this is putting a little more cardio into the body. We did a lot already to challenge our central nervous system, but we need to also challenge our cardiovascular output. How far can we run before we gotta stop? How far can we hike uphill before we gotta stop? Can we run upstairs and we gotta stop? Swimming and then we gotta stop. That all takes endurance. That really taxes your cardiovascular. So this is another reason why I stress water oxygenates you. That helps. But more importantly, what you put in your body, different types of foods you put in your body, very important. If you want a good workout, if you want a good outcome from that workout, you can't put bad food in that body. Something saturated in oils and heavy fats, something that's processed, it's just not gonna work. The body is a very advanced machine that requires the best fuel. You would never put just mediocre fuel inside of a Ferrari. That's a performance machine. Our bodies are performance machines. So we need to really, really be very careful what we put into that body. If you're a smoker, I used to be a smoker for 10 years. I quit cold turkey. That's not for everybody. We're not going to get into that now. But there's a lot of things that we can do just each and every day. Give up one soda a day. Maybe cut your smoking down until you don't do it anymore. You know, if you eat a lot of red meat, cut back on that too. That stuff is hard to digest. All right, so sorry, I went off on a little rant about diet there. So we're gonna get back into our jump ropes here. This is a fun one. You know, you can do a lot of creative things with your feet, shifting back and forth here, high knee position here, maybe get some kicks. Good. 2-leg back and forth. As long as the body is moving, we're gonna build that cardiovascular system. When a body's in motion and it stays in motion, that's the challenge, is to try to keep that longevity of that motion, whether it's just jogging in place or you're sprinting a little further each time. All right, 10 more seconds on the jump ropes, guys. Good. 3, 2, 1. Good. All right, so next cardio movement that we can do, very simple, very basic one, jumping jacks. Very easy to do. We did these in gym class, I'm sure. Those in the military, I think you guys still do those, right? Police Academy. So we're gonna start with our hands to our sides, and we're gonna bring it above the head here. Make sure you're breathing with these, all right? Your breathing's just gonna naturally increase anyways, so we wanna make sure we try to slow that down. We don't wanna huff and puff while we're doing these movements. We wanna breathe, keep that oxygen going in, get it out, keep it going in, keep it going out, keep it flowing. All right, good, let's keep going. We're gonna get 20 more on your own count. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, all right. Now we're going to chain together some body weight movements, core exercises. We all need core exercises. Now, some of the most common core exercises are going to be things like sit-ups and crunches. Well, I like variation. I think it's good to have some variation so that it doesn't get too stale or too boring. So I come from the martial arts world. I'm part of the jiu-jitsu and the Muay Thai community. When I first started doing Muay Thai, we did these things called over-the-hill crunches. What it did was it made sure that you weren't pulling or jerking on your neck. At the same time, it gave you more stability and balance. And most importantly, well, not most importantly, but equally as important to not injuring yourself is maintaining that core. You want to hit that core. So if you don't feel it in your core, it means you're not doing it. Your core is not really feeling it. It's not absorbing that knowledge that we're trying to put it through. So we're going to plant our feet. We're going to take our hands. We're going to place them on the thighs. And we're going to use our stomach to crunch upward here, bringing our hands over that track, up and over that hill. Look at that hill. Look at that slope. We're getting up and over the hill and down that slope. Look at that. We do these like champs. We've got to make sure we train our core very often. They don't call it the core for nothing. That is the center, man. That connects everything up top to down below. Your glute muscles, your leg muscles, your calves, muscles in your feet and your ankles, man. Your lower back, your upper back, your arms, your neck, everything. And it's just that in between that's really important. So that's why doing all these core exercises here, if you want those abs to show, if you're at the beach because it's still beach season and you want those abs to show, well, it's a combination of eating good, clean, healthy foods and doing exercises, exercising. Cardio alone doesn't burn fat, it burns calories. So if we eliminate certain bad calories in our bodies and we're working out all the same, we're meeting that head on. We're doing things that are very proactive for our bodies. Good, let's get 10 more, guys. Keep it going, 10 more. Last one, guys. Good, all right. So next we're gonna move to the reverse crunch. So it starts with the knees and feet elevated. A couple of ways you could do this. Ladies and gentlemen, people participating, if you have lower back issues, take your hands, flatten them out, and put them right underneath your hips here, okay? So we're going to extend, my knees are bent, we're gonna extend the feet close to the floor, and then we're gonna roll them up. We get a little bit closer here. Good, everyone see that okay? Good. Now, when I'm rolling up here, it reveals my hand position. My posterior is elevated. And at the same time that I'm crunching those knees into my chest, I'm extending away to stretch that abdomen, to encourage it to constantly fire. If it's stretching, it's got to come back to that climactic point where that muscle is working. Makes sense? It's like when you do a bicep curl. It's stretching to load it for the squeeze. We're pumping blood into those muscles. We're getting them to fire and to work. Anyone, if you want an extra challenge, your back's okay, place your hands in the back of the head and then do them that way. Good, let's get 5 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's wrap those up. Good. All right. So we're going to do one more movement before we take another short little break. We're going to go back into our plank position. So this plank movement, it's similar to a planking knee, but it's called a mountain climber. So we start off in the plank position. If I pick up the pace, now these are mountain climbers. They're no longer planking knees. It's more cardio for the body. You're moving your body a little bit faster. So for plank position, we're going to pump those knees forward. We're going to finish up with a good 30 seconds. All right. You can obviously pick up the pace as fast as you want, as long as you're going faster than just the planking knee. Now, if you're feeling a little bit tired and you want to just hang out and do the planking knee, or just hold the plank, by all means. Again, we're here to challenge ourselves, but if you're starting to feel that you're getting overworked, maybe you're getting a little tired or dizzy, just stop and hang out with us, okay? Good. Keep it going, guys. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Break. Good. All right, everyone, we're going to take a minute. Again, get hydrated if you need to get hydrated. Probably not a huge need to stretch right now, but if there is, we're going to go back to some of the stretches we did earlier. All right? Child's pose. Upward dog stretch. You can do each of those. 15, 20 seconds. They're good universal stretches. They'll stretch virtually anything in the body. So take a quick minute, and then we're going to get back to it. We're going to go to a phase called cool down. What's cool down? Well, I'm going to explain that. Let me hydrate real quick. So, cool down is to the end of our workout as what warm up was to the beginning of that. We're finishing off. We're telling the end of the story. It's wrapping up. So, as much as stressing the importance for warming the body up, we want to cool the body down by doing things like stretches and breathing exercises. It's just going to give that body the extra tender loving care after a hard workout that it really needs. It's going to be very beneficial. Okay, so a couple of these are mobility movements. You might feel the musculature in your body go just a little extra, but I want to stress that these are predominantly, for mobility's sake, going to be cool down movements for flexibility and dexterity. So the first one we're going to start off with is a bit challenging. Your fingers are going to face away from the body. Your feet are going to be planted firmly into the floor. You're going to elevate into the reverse tabletop position. Now, this is one of those stretches that really stretches where it's stretching. It's getting everything from the arms, shoulders, the lower back, hips, and thighs, everything in the body through this elevated point. So if we feel like, that's a little too much stress, keep your hands where they are. Keep one leg extended and just elevate one leg at a time. Or maybe just elevate the hips here, or just puff the chest out. Still doing a lot of stretching. That's not necessarily as much as this, but it's a lot less stress here, okay? So we're just gonna hold that position here. 5, 4, 3, or if you're here, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. All right, going back to the sitting position. This is my all-time favorite stretch. It's called the shin box. It's sort of similar to what the pigeon does, but the pigeon's pretty extreme of a stretch. If you could do it, great. You can at this point in time, but I want to show you the shin box. So I'm going to fold my right leg in here so that it connects to my leg here. It looks like a figure 4 that I have going. So I'm going to sit to my hip here. I'm going to bring the leg fully down, and then I'm going to extend the leg back behind it here. That's why they call it a shin box. From my knee down to my ankle, that's that shin bone right there, that tibia. All right. Works the same way this way here. Okay. So back to the right side facing forward, left side facing back. Everyone wave to me with your left hand. We're going to touch our right knee. So place your hand on your knee, and then we're going to go diagonally. We're going to reach diagonally away, And then we're going to hold that stretch position. So what is this stretching? Well, this is stretching everything from the knee up, this IT band area here that gets really tight if you're a runner. If you do a lot of squats or leg exercises, this gets really tight, as well as the posterior, the piriformis, gluteus maximus and minimus, as well as the hip flexors. So those are some key areas to stretch. They're big areas, big muscle areas of the body. So we want to make sure that we stretch those out really well. All right, so we're going to hold that position 15 seconds. Good. Let's get that 15 seconds on that stretch. And then we're going to switch sides. Good. Both legs out to the front, left forward, right back. Everyone wait for me with your right hand. Place it on your left knee. Reach out diagonally. We're going to hold that for 15 seconds, okay? I'm really surprised none of my dogs came out and joined. When I do virtual sessions like this for clients, they can't wait to come out here. I don't know what's any different. It is a little later in the day, but it's getting close to dinner time. They should be bothering me right now. Speaking of dinner time, I know this is dinner time for a lot of people, and I appreciate anyone that's joined in to this. This means a lot to me. I'm glad I could be part of Sweat Till Sunset. Sorry, I went into a different train of thought there about dinner time. So, well, whatever it is that you're eating for dinner tonight, I hope everyone has something to eat first off. Again, just try to approach it in a way that you're putting, you know, essential food, you're putting energy into your body. So if it's really good energy, you're going to have good output from that energy. All right, so we're going to go into our next stretch. We're going to hop all the way up, standing position. Okay, both feet facing forward. Hands are going to reach all the way down. So if you just can grab your knees here, great. Your shins, your ankles, your toes, we're down to the floor. We're stretching everything in the back of the leg and the lower back. So standing position, hands all the way to the front here. We're going to hold that 15 seconds. Good, get a good little stretch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. Okay, so I made you stand, but we're going to go right back down to tabletop position. And we're going to do one of my other favorite stretches. This is called a spinal coil. We're going to thread the needle through the spinal cord. So I'm going to reach up. I'm going to bring my left up, point it to the ceiling. I'm following it with my head, neck, and shoulder. And then I'm going to thread it through that open space there. I'm going to bring my head all the way flat, looking out towards my right side. And I'm going to hold that stretch position. So again, it starts off from tabletop here. We reach up. We thread it through. We bring our head all the way down. If you want to take extra pressure off the head, take your right hand, press it firmly into the floor next to you so that you're not bending and twisting your neck too much. All right, 5 more seconds, and then we're going to switch to the right side. Same thing, spinal coil up, thread the needle all the way through, only stretch position. We'll hold this 15 seconds. We got one more stretch after this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Back in a tabletop position. This is one that we did before. Just a good old-fashioned child's pose. All right. So starting from tabletop, you shift the hips all the way back so that your posterior is right on top of your ankles. Your head is in between your shoulders. Arms are reaching all the way out. Stretching everything in the body. This is a good time to really practice your breathing. So slow your breathing down. Breathe in the nose, out the mouth. In the nose, out the mouth. Nice and calm. Slow your breathing. Breathing exercises are not just fundamental to training, they're also important. In stressful times that we might find ourselves in right now, dealing with what we're dealing with, not knowing, you know, what's going to happen next. Everything's volatile right now. I promise you this helps. Relax. Just got to relax. You can't stress out more than you need to. You got to breathe. You got to inhale. Exhale. Just try to relax. Try to give things a little more thought. I hope you guys have more clarity through that, and I really hope that helps. Again, thank you for joining us, all you participants, for the Champions for Health presents Sweat Till Sunset. My name is Jonathan Gonzalez, John Gonzalez, Johnny, John, whatever you want to call me. I was glad that I was able to be your virtual trainer for today. So I'm going to move on to a Q&A. Now, if anyone has any questions, they can contact me. They can reach me. Again, my name is John Gonzalez, Jonathan Gonzalez, Johnny, whatever you guys feel comfortable with. And I was your virtual trainer today for Sweat Till Sunset. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day.
Thanks, John. I think there's one question in the chat for you.
Yep, I'm going to open it up right now. Perfect. Perfect. Love these questions. Best at-home bicep and leg workout you recommend?
Okay, you're on.
Cool. Hi, thank you for joining for this yoga class. My name is Nazle, and I'm here with Spirit Yoga Studios in Pacific Beach, San Diego. I'm going to suggest that we get started sitting on our shins, and I know sometimes that's not the most comfortable for the knees. It is a really good pose to start to work in the scar tissue of the knees and open up the quads a bit. But if you'd like, either a block or a pillow can be set in between your ankles so you can sit on and elevate the hips up a little bit higher. So once you do find a seat on your shins, go ahead and let your hands relax down on your thighs. And if it feels good to start off a few shoulder rolls, a few neck rolls, just kind of loosen up through the upper body. And just with a natural breath, try not to change anything just yet. Let yourself eventually find a bit of stillness, tall spine. And if you're comfortable with it, eyes close off. Just begin to tap into your breath. Notice the way the breath draws in. And just noticing how the breath releases out of you. Again, try not to change a whole lot just yet. These first few moments are for you to observe yourself and notice whatever it is that you're feeling in the physical body, what's happening up in your mind, you're just taking notice. Let's take a cleansing breath together. Slowly breathe in through your nose, let your whole body fill up. And open mouth, exhale, let everything release. And do that again, slowly in through the nose. Feel the breath rise from the low belly all the way up through the chest. And open mouth, exhale, let it out. Maybe you choose to take one or two more open mouth exhales, it's up to you. But eventually you'll let your lips seal. And just breathe in and out through your nose. And when you do get there, let the breath become a little bit stronger and a little bit deeper. Almost like you're trying to drag it out just a tiny bit on the way in. And do the same thing on the way out, just a little bit longer than you're used to. If you're familiar with yoga, we start to cultivate the Ujjayi breath, and Ujjayi translates to victorious. It's just this really strong breath that draws up and down the back of the throat. Just seated for a few more moments, continue to notice how your breath is flowing throughout your body. One of the biggest components of yoga is tapping into how your breath makes you feel and tying that into your movements. You're more than welcome to keep the eyes closed. If you choose to, maybe slowly flutter open your eyes. And inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky. Grow really tall as you breathe in. And draw your hands down to your heart on your breath out. Inhale again, sweep the arms up, and this time come to standing on the shins. Give the knees a little break as you reach your arms to the sky. Exhale, you sit back down, hands through the heart. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, rise up onto the shins, grow tall. Exhale, sit back down. We'll rise up one more time, and this time you're going to step your right foot forward. As you land the right foot forward, go ahead and scoot the left knee back a little bit. Just give yourself a few pulses in and out of the right leg. I like my back toes tucked. That feels better for my balance. So give yourself a moment, breathe into the hip flexors. Give yourself one more inhale. Just grow nice and tall. Come out of the lunge a bit. And gentle twist to the right, arms open up wide. For a moment here, feel the inhale grow you a little bit taller. Your exhale, just a gentle twist. And bring it back to center, breathe in, both arms to the sky. And release your fingertips down around your right foot. We'll take half split. Straighten out the right leg and flex the toes up. It doesn't matter how straight the leg gets, I'll give a pretty good bend in my knee. But all you're trying to do is draw the right hip back, lift it forward, and then relax your forehead down. Breathe into the hamstrings for a few rounds. And throughout this practice, we'll allow ourselves to move slow. Feel into every little corner of the body, whether it's parts that feel really tight or tense, or areas of us that feel really good too. Give it one more breath in. And come back to your low lunge on your breath out, bend into the right knee. Fingertips frame your foot, and go ahead and tuck the back toes under. Step your left foot up to meet your right, forward fold at the top of the mat. Separate your feet out at least hips width apart. Then lift halfway, bring your hands to your shins, pull the shoulder blades together. We'll fold for ragdoll, reach for opposite elbows, start to let your head and neck relax down, and give yourself a chance to sway side to side. You just want to let your upper body relax as much as you can. Keep a really good bend in your knees. That way we're not just tackling the hamstrings here, but you're also getting a nice stretch into the low back. Take 3 more breaths in this fold. And eventually let your fingertips release to the ground. And roll your way up to standing, one vertebrae at a time, let the spine unravel. Your head will be the very last thing to rise, and once it does, reach your arms up to the sky, grow tall with the fingers again as you breathe in. Palms to your heart, breathe out. Inhale, stretch your arms wide enough. Take a hold of your left wrist and start to lean over to the right. Take a round breath. Inhale a little bit taller. Exhale, you keep leaning. And bring it back to center, inhale. Switch sides as you exhale. Again, for a rounded breath, a little bit taller, breathe in. Just side bend, breathe out. Inhale, we rise, arms to the sky. Exhale, cactus the arms, squeeze your shoulder blades together, lift up through your chest. Inhale, stretch up tall. Exhale, forward fold. Pinch from your hips, bend your knees on your way down. And once your hands touch, lift halfway, lengthen the back, draw the shoulder blades together. Exhale, fold, plant your palms, and step one foot back and then the other. We'll find a high plank, shoulders over the wrists. Give yourself a moment in plank to feel really strong. Press the ground away, take a breath in. Tap your knees to the ground, let your breath out. From tabletop, hands and knees, inhale, cow pose, drop your belly, lift your tailbone, lift your chest. Exhale, cat pose, round and curl the spine, press the ground away. Neutral tabletop as you breathe in, bring the knees together. Sit back onto your shins as you breathe out. Maybe use a block underneath you. Inhale, stretch the arms up, gaze up. Exhale, hands through the heart. Inhale, we rise onto the shins, stretch up to the sky. Exhale, sit back down. Rise up on the shins, this time step your left foot forward. And give yourself a moment to sink in and out of the hips. I'm pretty long, so I scoot my right knee back a little bit. That might give you a little bit more space in the hips. And then just explore for a few moments. Find length in the low back. And then with that length, grow a little bit taller, come out of the lunge. And gentle twist to the left, arms open wide. Grow tall for a breath in. And just twisting on your breath out. Inhale back up, both arms reach high. Exhale, fingertips down to the ground, and now start to straighten out the left leg. Again, just any amount that feels good on your body, toes up. Now the left hip pulls back, right hip forward, and then you start to soften into the fold. Keep activating the toes back towards your base. And just like we were doing at the beginning, slow and strong breath in. Slow and strong breath out. Take one more inhale. Bend into your left knee as you exhale. Tuck the right toes under, step the right foot up to meet your left, feet hips width apart, top of the mat. Halfway lift, inhale, lengthen the back. Exhale, fold, relax your head and neck down. Inhale, we rise, arms to the sky, breathe in. Palms to the heart, breathe out. Inhale, stretch back up. Take the left wrist, bend to the right. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, switch sides. Stretch up as you breathe in. Cactus the arms, open the heart, breathe out. Reach tall, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Flat back, breathe it in. Palms to the ground, step back to a high plank. And this time from high plank, one, inhale. Knees to the ground, exhale. From a modified plank, shift forward slightly, and then lower all the way down to your belly. Pull your elbows in tight as you come down. Once you're down on the ground, fingertips below the shoulders, baby cobra is your breath, and peel the chest up. And exhale, bring it back down. Twice more. Inhale, lift your chest. See if you can hover your hands off the ground so you just use back strength. Exhale, lower. One more time. Press into your toenails, lift the heart. Exhale, let it go. Now crawl your fingertips out nice and wide. Outside of your mat, lift your elbows, and then press into your fingertips. Lift your chest up a little bit higher for a breath in. Dip your right shoulder down, look to your left, breathe out. Inhale, back up. Exhale, left shoulder down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Press up to tabletop, hands and knees. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, hips up. Once you get to down dog with your hips lifted, go ahead and pedal out your feet a little bit. Then really deep into one knee and then deep into the other. You just want to give yourself a chance to stretch out the hamstrings, stretch out the calves. And while you're in down dog, keep pressing the ground away from you so you feel your chest press towards your thighs. From there, you'll see if you can draw your shoulders down your back a bit and feel the neck lengthen. Find a bit of stillness in down dog. Shake your head out, yes or no. Soften the muscles of your neck. From here, bring your feet a little bit closer than hips width apart and stretch your right leg to the sky. And then see how gently you can step your right foot through between your hands. Once you land, stay on the ball of your back foot, rise up, reach up to the sky, high crescent. So now with the back heel lifted up really high, draw the left hip forward and then sink into the lunge. Lengthen the low back of it, and sometimes bending the back knee helps. Strong breath in. Twist from the low belly, arms out wide as you open up to the right. Lunge stays low and strong. Inhale a little bit taller. Exhale, keep twisting. Bring it back to center, both arms high, breathe in. Warrior two is your breath out. Back heel flat, arms out wide. And then give yourself a moment to really settle into warrior two. Bend deep into the right knee and see your right big toe. Strengthen the arms and a lot of space in the upper body. Keep the integrity of the strong legs and straighten out the right leg. Reach forward as far as you can, bump the hips back. Triangle pose, right hand down, left arm up. And you're just trying to put a lot of weight into the right hand so you can kind of swing around. It's not weight bearing. Your obliques are holding you up and then rotating you open. Breathe into the legs. One more inhale. We stay for the exhale. Reverse your warrior. Bend into the right knee and sweep the right arm up and back. Now this one's just a really big side body stretch. So breathe into your rib cage. Take one more inhale. And then cartwheel your hands down to the ground. Bring your left knee down to the mat. Keep your left hand on the ground and reach your right arm to the sky twist. Once you start to twist, you can stay here or reach for your left foot. And if you grab a hold of it, once you pull your heel towards your glute, you'll find a deeper quad stretch. Keep twisting the upper body. One more breath in. Heel to your glute on your breath out. Release the foot back to a twist. Inhale. Let your right palm release as you exhale. Tuck the back toes under. Let's find three-legged dog. Sweep your right leg all the way up to the sky. Bend your knees, stack your hips open. Give it a chance for the hips to open up. And then release to down dog, both feet to the floor. Left leg reaches up, inhale. Take a big step here between your hands. We'll rise to a crescent lunge. Again, stay on the ball of your back foot. Once you start to lift, take a little scooping motion in the low back. Feel the navel draw up and in, and then settle into the lunge. Strong breaths. Ribs gather together to keep the center really strong. With all the strength, one more breath in. Twist open to the left on your breath out, arms wide. Full inhale. Twist, exhale. Bring it back to center, breathe in. Warrior two, breathe out. So again, give yourself a chance to settle into warrior two, knee over the ankle. Gently pressing your left knee towards the pinky edge of your foot. And you'll keep the strength of the legs, straighten out the left leg, reach forward as far as you can. Triangle pose, TikTok the arms. And then use the left arm, even though it's not weight bearing, use it to leverage the chest open a little bit more. Breathe where you are. Your next inhale, reverse your warrior. Bend into the left knee, stretch the left arm up and back. Make sure that your left knee doesn't collapse in, it's still pressing open. Deep inhale. Cartwheel your hands to the ground. Exhale, lower the right knee. We'll start with a twist, left arm to the sky. And then the quad stretch, if you'd like it, left hand for your right foot. Heel towards your glute, take a breath in. Keep twisting, breathe out. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, left hand down. Three-legged dog, swing the left leg to the side. Bend your knees, stack your hips. Stay for the inhale. Downward facing dog, exhale. Option to stay in this down dog or shift forward to a plank. Lower halfway down and pull your elbows in really tight. Upward facing dog, this time you straighten the arms, lift your chest, lift your kneecaps. Downward facing dog, hips up to the sky. Give yourself one slow breath in. And stay in your down dog for your breath out. Take 3 more breaths in down dog. Again, not feeling rushed to get from one space to the next. Just breathe where you are. Slow down whatever's going on in your head. And we're going to take this breath to movement together. Inhale, right leg to the sky. Exhale, step between your hands. High crescent, breathe in, rise. Twist to the right, exhale. Back to center, breathe in. Warrior 2, breathe out. Straighten the leg and reach forward, inhale. Triangle pose, exhale. Reverse your warrior, right arm reaches up and back. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down. This time, keep the back knee lifted and twist open, right arm to the sky. Option to roll to the outer edges of your feet. Get a little hip stretch as you reach back. Bring it back to your twist, inhale. Right hand down, exhale. 3-legged dog, right leg reaches up. Again, you can go straight into down dog or shift forward. See if you can keep the right leg lifted and lower halfway. Upward facing dog, press into the tops of both feet. Down dog, hips high. Start with the left side. Inhale the left leg up. And step your foot between your hands. High crescent, you rise. Exhale, twist left. Bring it back to center, breathe in. Warrior 2, breathe out. Straighten the left leg and reach forward, breathe in. Triangle pose, breathe out. Reverse it, take your left arm up and back for your inhale. Hands to the ground, exhale. We'll start with a twist, left arm to the sky, breathe in. Option to roll to the outer edges of your feet as you breathe out. Back to twist, inhale. Left hand down, exhale. 3-legged dog, stretch your left leg up. Again, either release it to down dog or shift forward and lower halfway. Up dog or cobra, you take a back bend that feels good for you. And downward facing dog, hips high. Lift as high up on your toes as you can. And bring it down to the knees. Child's pose, open up your knees nice and wide, big toes together to touch, and sit your hips back. And rest your forehead down onto the ground. Maybe you can rock your forehead side to side for a moment. Just give yourself a chance to breathe. And just like we did at the beginning, slowly in through the nose and slowly out the nose. From this child's pose, go ahead and walk your hands all the way over towards the right. You might even stack your left hand on top of your right and then relax your forehead down again. So just a child's pose with a side bend. Breathe all the way down into the low back. Breathe all the way out through the fingertips. And you'll take or make your way over towards the left. Crawl to the other side and maybe right hand stacks on top of your left. Go ahead and crawl yourself back towards center. Keep the knees nice and wide for a moment. Shift your way forward. Crawl your hands forward a bit. And kind of like you're coming into up dog, just shift the body forward, dip your hips towards the floor and let the chest widen for a moment. Take a breath in with the toes up. Exhale, child's pose, sit all the way back down. And we'll do that a couple of times. Inhale, roll the body forward. Exhale, dip the hips to the floor. Inhale, widen the collarbones. Exhale, child's pose, sit it back. Do that one more time and just go on your own breath. Take your time moving through. Eventually ending up in child's pose again with the knees wide. We meet up in tabletop. And go back to downward facing dog with your hips. Shake the head out, yes or no, and down dog. Look forward towards your hands and walk your way to the top of the mat. Bring your big toes together to touch this time. Unravel the spine and rise to standing a vertebrae at a time. The head rises, arms reach up. Palms down to the heart. Weight's going to come into your right foot and pick up your left foot. Give it a moment to stabilize through the right leg. Grow nice and tall. Stretch the arms high. Warrior 3, arms back, left leg back. And turn on your glutes to lift the left heel up. From the inseam of your leg, try to lift. So even your little pinky toe is facing down. Wide chest, give it a breath in. A big step back on your breath out. High crescent lunge, inhale. This time cactus the arms, bend the left knee, hover it above the ground. Inhale back up. One more time, draw the shoulder blades together as you lower. Reach up, inhale. Warrior 2, exhale. Keep the right knee bent this time and reach forward as far as you can. Side angle, rotate the upper body. Right fingertips down, left arm up. So know that you can always take the right forearm to your thigh instead. You can be up here or all the way down here. Just like you did in triangle pose, keep rotating the upper body. Let's give it one more breath in. One more breath out. Rise back up and take star pose this time. Arms wide, toes out. Exhale, hands down to your heart. Pivot your toes forward so your feet are parallel to the sides of the mat. Take another inhale, sweep up, a little back bend, lift the chest. Exhale, forward fold all the way down. We'll keep the legs nice and wide, and you can widen them even more if you'd like. Press into your palms and lift halfway, lengthen out the back. Exhale, fold yourself in, and maybe reach for the outer edges of your feet. We're going to be here for about 5 breaths. I really like bending deep into one knee and then deep into the other and getting the inner thighs involved. You can always have your hands to the ground instead for support. Or you can just stay folding yourself in. The next few breaths are for you to do something that feels good for you while you're here. We all have different needs, so take notice of what your body's craving and then go for it. Eventually, hands come back down to the ground, halfway lift, and then walk yourself forward to your right foot again. This time, walk your right foot all the way to the outer edge of the mat, so both hands are inside of your foot. Chest forward as you breathe in. Left knee to the ground on your breath out. And we'll take runner's lunge. So you can stay up on your palms. You can lower down to your forearms if you'd like. Or if you're kind of in that in-between stage, whether you have blocks at home or if you have a pillow or even a blanket at home, you can roll that up and set it underneath your forearms. That way you can lower down, but not all the way to the ground. We're going to hang out here for a handful of breaths. And if that quad stretch from earlier felt really good and you want to get back into that, right hand reaches for your left foot again. And maybe now that we loosen up the body a little bit more, you'll find a deeper stretch into the quads. Let's breathe. 5 more breaths. Wherever you are at, slowly take your time to come out. If you have some sort of a prop next to you, go ahead and pull it off to the side and then walk your right foot in between your hands. This time we'll tuck the back toes under, engage your left leg, and then start to straighten out both. And then you can bend back in. Just pulse back and forth a few times. Get back into the hamstrings. The next time you bend into the right knee, walk your fingertips forward even more. And then standing splits, left leg up. Maybe the hands crawl forward even more. Create a whole lot of space in your back. Take a breath in with the left heel up. Forward fold, big toes together to touch, top of the mat. And lift halfway, lengthen the back. Fold and let it go. Inhale, we rise, arms to the sky, breathe in. Palms to your heart, breathe out. Let the eyes soften and close off fully. And just take a few breaths standing. Maybe it's in and out through the nose. Maybe you want some open mouth exhales. When you're ready, eyes will open up again. You're going to pick up your right foot, balance on your left. Arms to the sky, breathe in. Warrior 3, sweep everything back. And then while you're here in Warrior 3, the fingertips are reaching back so they keep the chest wide and open. You create this letter T shape with your body and really press back to your heel. Take one more breath in. Big soft step back on your breath out. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, cactus the arms and hover the back knee. One more time, breathe in, lift. Exhale, open the chest. Reach up, inhale. Warrior 2, exhale. Strong legs, strong lunge, reach forward as far as you can. Side ankle, maybe elbow to thigh or left fingertips to the ground. Use the leverage to rotate the torso. And then hang out and breathe. Keep pressing the left knee towards the pinky edge of your foot to really get the hip opening. Inhale, rises up to star. Toes out for a moment. Hands to your heart. Now parallel the feet, toes slightly in. And inhale, arms up. And this time, interlace your hands behind your back. And take a breath in and puff up the chest, draw the shoulders down and back. Start to fold with your arms down. Weight's gonna come slightly forward towards the balls of your feet. You can shake your head out yes or no. If that's a lot or really uncomfortable, maybe you take a towel or a shirt or something and you hold on to it between your hands. You never want to feel actual pain in the yoga poses, especially joints, shoulders and knees. It's okay if you're uncomfortable. That's definitely part of it, but pain, come out of it a little bit and find another way to do it. Let's take 3 more breaths. And you'll gently release your hands to the ground. Halfway lift, and then make your way to the low lunge. Hands inside of your left foot. Shimmy the left foot all the way out. Use 1 breath and pull the chest forward. And then bring the right knee down. Again, start to soften into your runner's lunge. Whether you want to stay on the hands or the forearms. I know that I'm much tighter on my left side, so I'm going to choose not to lower down to my forearms today. So maybe that'll encourage you to just notice that sometimes you have one side that is a lot more open than the other. You're all good either way, just breathe into whatever comes up. If you took the quad stretch on the other side and you want it on this side, it's left hand reaching for your right foot this time. Let's give it 2 more rounds of breath. If you're down on your forearms, make it your way back up onto your palms. Left foot shimmies in between your hands, and then tuck the back toes under. We straighten both legs, hips up. And you lunge back in, and you're just going to give yourself a chance to stretch the hamstrings and kind of just release that runner's lunge out of you. And then once you come back to a low lunge, crawl the fingertips forward a bit. Standing splits, right leg to the sky, create that space in the back. And then fold yourself down, big toes together. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold and let it go. We rise, arms to the sky, breathe in. Palms to the heart, breathe out. And now you're going to walk your feet all the way to the outer edges of the mat. Toes out, heels in. Get really tall for a moment. And then start to sit yourself all the way down. Once you sit yourself into this little squat, the toes are slightly out. And again, if you have a blocker or blanket or something that you want to sit on, you can always do that to elevate the hips up a little bit. Elbows press into the thighs, and maybe you rock side to side a few times. Stay tall and breathe. Maybe close off your eyes and just notice whatever it is that you're feeling. All the little physical messengers. One more inhale, as tall as you can. Use your exhale just to find a seat. Once you find a seat, stretch your legs out in front of you, shake them out for a moment. And then you're going to bring your hands right behind you. Your hands are going to support you to help you sit up nice and tall, feet flat on the ground. Let's take right ankle over the left knee and find a figure 4. Once you cross it, flex your right toes, and then if you want more, walk your left foot closer and closer towards you and keep sitting up nice and tall. If you want more on the hips and this isn't enough right now, we'll take double pigeon, and you can lay your left shin down on the ground. Bring your right shin right on top. So it translates to fire log pose, and your shins are basically these little fire logs that stack on top of one another. So notice where your left foot is. If it's really close to your butt, scoot it away. And now you'll flex both feet. If you're in double pigeon, sit up really tall, and then if you want that bit extra, walk your hands forward and fold in. Whatever the next few moments look like for you, figure 4 double pigeon, just breathe into the hips. Breathe into the low back. Breathe into all the areas that are affected by this. Hopefully in a good way. And maybe about 3 more breaths, so not here super long. If you're in double pigeon and you're folded forward, go ahead and roll back up. From this seated figure 4, go ahead and just lengthen out your legs, and maybe just shake out the right leg for a moment. We'll keep the right leg straight, but open it up to an angle, and take the sole of your left foot into your thigh. Soften the right knee a bit so it's not locked out. Reach up, toes up. Pull your chest towards your toes and fold yourself in. It doesn't matter how deep into this you go. Doesn't even matter what you hold on to, but find length and space in the back and then deepen the fold. Keep activating the toes up. Let that be the space of activation. One more inhale. And one more exhale. Roll yourself up. And now we'll start with figure 4 on the left side. Left ankle over your right knee. Maybe the right foot taps to the ground and you can use your hands behind you. I kind of like rocking side to side a little bit at first, just to loosen out the hip. And then if you decide that you need more, now the right shin will lay down. Left shin on top, you flex the toes. Sit up nice and tall, and then choose if you want to fold yourself forward. And again, you're not worrying about what this looks like, but rather what it feels like. Where do you feel the stretch traveling to? What parts of you feel like it's getting a really good stretch? And what parts of you feel like they're already really open? What parts feel really good already? Take a few more breaths. Let's take one more round of breath. And you'll slowly start to release out this side. Once the left leg stretches out, you shake it out. Sole of your right foot into your thigh. Just like we did, soften the left knee a bit. Reach up, grow tall. And fold yourself in. Pull the chest forward. Pull, pull, pull. And then soften into it. Take one more round of breath. And start to bring yourself back up. And now we'll take both feet flat on the mat. Scoot up on your mat a bit, you'll end up on your back. Stretch the arms forward. And roll all the way down. Once you arrive on your back, we're going to set up for one back bend. Walk your feet into your fingertips. Hug through your inner thighs. Press your low back into the ground for a moment, and then using the core engagement, lift your hips up. And then once the hips lift up, you can choose to interlace your hands behind your back. For bridge pose, activate the hips, pull up through the chest. Keep working the inner thighs so that knees stay over the ankles. You don't want the knees to sway out wide. Give it one more breath in. And gently unravel yourself to the ground on your breath out. Pull both knees into your chest. And just rock side to side for a moment, massage your low back into the ground. You'll interlace your hands over your right shin and stretch the left leg out. Give the right knee a really good squeeze towards your armpit. And then you'll twist. With your left hand, pull your right knee to the left. Once the leg is twisted, stretch the right arm out wide. Let your right shoulder relax down. Give yourself a few breaths on your back, starting to soften the body a bit more. Less about holding control over different parts of your body, and now you're just letting yourself just kind of fall into this shape. Unravel yourself and start to come back to center. Take both knees into your chest for a moment, hug. And then hug the left shin, right leg out. Little squeeze towards your armpit first. And then we twist. Use your right hand, pull the knee over. I like scooting my hips to the left just a little bit, and then left arm opens up. And start to soften the muscles in the back. Soften the hips and the belly. Give it one more round of breath. Unravel as you're ready. Pull your knees into your chest. Let's finish off with happy baby. Reach for the outer edges of your feet. If that's a lot right now, reach for your ankles. If you prefer, just hands behind the thighs. But let your low back be resting on the ground, and then take these little rocks side to side. Give yourself a few more breaths. Draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little hug. Bring your forehead to your knees and round the whole body as you inhale. Your exhale releases out the legs and the arms. We'll set up for our final pose, Shavasana. The legs stretch out, the arms stretch out. Shavasana is meant to be the space of stillness, of quiet, of you releasing out everything. So we've held control over the breath, over the body for the last 50 minutes. Now it's your chance to not hold control over anything, to surrender everything you've done. So check in with the muscles, check in with the bones. Soften yourself down into the earth. And start to slow down the breath, then bring it back to its natural rhythm. If your eyes close off, perfect. If you prefer not to close your eyes, maybe just take a soft gaze up towards the sky or ceiling. Or you're just going to take a few moments to lay here. Let go of any expectations or anything that you need to do. Right now is just a time to be with yourself, to feel the rhythm of your breath draw in and out. And I'll bring us back in a moment. You let go and enjoy. And you can always extend this time out to be as long as you'd like. If you are ready to come back, start with a deeper breath. Start to bring little movements in the body by moving the fingers and the toes. Those movements grow into a full body stretch, arms overhead. From here, you roll over onto one side. If you can't, allow your eyes to stay closed so the attention's just drawing in. Once you're down on one side, press into your palm and rise up to a seated position. Keep the eyes can stay soft for a moment. These last few minutes are just for you to check in with yourself and observe again how you are feeling, how you started out the practice, where you've ended up. Hands can rest on your thighs, and we'll take the palms face up. And sitting up nice and tall, giving yourself a chance to acknowledge and thank yourself. Send a little bit of that gratitude out into the world. And we'll take one more breath together. Slowly breathe in through the nose, fill the whole body up. Open mouth, exhale, let everything release. You can draw the palms together in front of your heart, a sign of gratitude and acknowledgement. Thank you for joining. Again, my name is Nazle. You can find me through Spirit Yoga Studios in Pacific Beach, San Diego. Or if you want to keep in touch or have any questions about this, you can find me on Instagram, Namaste Nazle. That's my website too, namastenazle.com. Find me and chat. Oh, good. I'm glad hopefully you learned a few moves that you can take out on your own. Alrighty, I'm gonna sign off. Thank you for being here.